There's a manifestation technique so fast, so simple, and so powerful that most teachers don't even mention it, because it doesn't require elaborate rituals. It doesn't take an hour of meditation. It works in seconds. You can shift your entire state of consciousness in less time than it takes to read a single sentence. This isn't a slow process. It's not something that requires months of inner work to access. The state of being wealthy, loved, successful, free, all of it is available to you in the next breath you take, if you know how to make the shift. Most people don't know how, so they spend years trying to gradually become someone different, when they could be making the shift instantly, dozens of times a day. They treat state change like a long journey, when it's actually a single decision. Tonight, you're going to learn the fastest manifestation technique that exists, a shift you can make in seconds, anywhere, anytime, without anyone knowing you're doing it. And the more you practice this shift, the more your reality starts to reflect the state you've been deliberately stepping into. Because manifestation isn't about time, it's about state, and state can change instantly. Your state is the most powerful thing you carry through life. More powerful than your strategy, more powerful than your effort, more powerful than anything else you might do. Because your state is what consciousness reads. It's the signal that creates your reality. And whatever state you're in right now is the state that's manifesting your current circumstances. If you're stuck in a state of lack, lack is what you're creating. If you're stuck in a state of anxiety, anxiety is what you're attracting. If you're stuck in a state of frustration, frustration is what keeps showing up in your life. But your state isn't fixed. It's not something you're stuck in. It's something you can change, deliberately, in seconds, whenever you choose to. This is what most people miss. They think their state is determined by their circumstances. They feel broke because they have no money. They feel lonely because they're alone. They feel stuck because nothing's changing. But the truth is the opposite. Their circumstances are determined by their state. Change the state, and the circumstances must follow. That's the law. And the fastest way to change your reality is to change your state. Right now, in this moment, without waiting for anything external to shift first. Here's the most important thing to understand about state shifting. It's a decision, not a feeling that happens to you. You don't wait for the right mood to arrive. You decide to shift. You don't hope you'll feel wealthy someday. You decide to feel wealthy now. You don't wonder when love will find you. You decide to feel loved in this moment. This is hard for most people to accept because they've been trained to think of feelings as automatic responses to circumstances. Something good happens, they feel good. Something bad happens, they feel bad. They believe their state is at the mercy of what's happening around them. But that's not true. Your state is at the mercy of your decisions. And you can decide, in any moment, to occupy a completely different state, regardless of what your circumstances are showing. This decision is the entire shift, not a process, not a technique requiring training. A simple, immediate decision to step into a different state of being. You've actually been doing this your whole life without realizing it. When you watch a movie, you shift into the state of being in that story. When you remember a happy memory, you shift into the feeling of that moment. State shifting is a natural ability. You've just never used it deliberately to manifest what you want. Tonight, you start using it on purpose. Here's the actual technique, the 2-breath shift. Take one deep breath out. As you exhale, release everything you've been holding, the worry, the tension, the dominant state you've been in. Let it all go on that one exhale. Drop your shoulders. Soften your body. Empty yourself of the current state. Now take one deep breath in. And as you inhale, deliberately step into the state you've decided to occupy, the state of being wealthy, loved, successful, free, whichever one you've chosen for this moment. That's it. 2 breaths, maybe 10 seconds total. And you've shifted from one state to another. This works because the body and the state are connected. The exhale releases, the inhale receives. And when you pair this physical breath pattern with a deliberate decision about what state to enter, you create an instant doorway between states. You don't need to hold this for long. Even 30 seconds of the new state, fully occupied, is enough to make a difference. The point isn't to stay in the shifted state forever. The point is to practice making the shift again and again throughout your day, so that the new state becomes more and more familiar to your consciousness. Try it right now. Exhale everything out. Then inhale into the state of someone who has what you want, just for a moment. That's the shift. To make the shift faster and more effective, learn to use physical cues. Your body holds enormous power to influence your state. The wealthy person doesn't slouch. They stand with quiet confidence. When you stand the same way, you start to feel the same way. Try it now. Stand up straight. Lift your chest slightly. Drop your shoulders down and back. Notice how this physical posture changes your inner feeling almost immediately. The loved person doesn't curl inward. They open their chest. They make eye contact. They smile easily. When you adopt this physical openness, you start to feel more lovable, more open, more ready to receive connection. The successful person doesn't shrink. They take up space comfortably. They breathe deeply. They move with intention. Mirror this physicality, and you start to feel more successful, more competent, more capable. Your body is a shortcut to your state. Change your posture, and your inner experience changes with it. This isn't acting. It's using the natural connection between body and consciousness to make state shifting easier. Throughout your day, notice your body. If you find yourself slumped, anxious, closed off, your body is reinforcing the old state. Adjust the body, and you adjust the state in seconds. This is one of the easiest tools available for state shifting, and almost nobody uses it consciously. Here's another fast technique. Create an anchor phrase. An anchor phrase is a short, powerful statement that when you say it, even silently, drops you immediately into the state you've chosen. It's not an affirmation you repeat for 10 minutes. It's a single phrase that triggers an instant shift. For wealth, your anchor might be, "I have everything I need." Said once, with feeling, it should drop you into the state of abundance. For love, your anchor might be, "I am loved completely." Said once, with feeling, it should drop you into the state of being cherished. For success, your anchor might be, "Everything works out for me." Said once, with feeling, it should drop you into the state of confident certainty. The key is that this phrase isn't doing the work. The state it points to is doing the work. The phrase is just the trigger that helps you access that state quickly. Find your anchor phrase, just one, short, direct, felt, and then practice using it throughout your day to make rapid state shifts. A few seconds, a single phrase, an instant change of inner experience. This isn't an affirmation, it's a doorway, and the more you use it, the faster the doorway opens. You might be wondering, if I only shift my state for a few seconds, can that really change anything? Yes, because every clean state shift adds momentum. Think of it this way. Your dominant state is determined by the cumulative time you spend in different states throughout your day. If you spend most of your day in anxiety, that's your dominant state. If you spend most of your day in lack, that's your dominant state. When you practice quick state shifts, even just for seconds at a time, you're adding more and more of the new state to your day. 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 30 seconds before sleep. It adds up. Over time, the new state starts to occupy more and more of your inner experience, and eventually, it becomes your new dominant state, the one that's running in the background, manifesting your reality. You don't need to maintain the shifted state forever. You just need to practice the shifts often enough that the new state gradually becomes more familiar than the old one. This is why seconds matter. Every shift is a small deposit in the bank of your new identity, and consistent small deposits eventually create a completely different account. The best time to practice state shifting is in the small in-between moments of your day, the pauses you don't usually notice. Standing in line at a store, 2-breath shift, waiting for water to boil, anchor phrase, sitting in traffic, quick posture adjustment and breath. The moment you walk through a door, mental shift into the new state. Right before you check your phone, brief moment of being the version of you who has what you want. These in-between moments are usually wasted on mental scrolling, thoughts about what went wrong yesterday, what could go wrong tomorrow, what you're stressed about right now. All of this reinforces your old state. But if you start using these moments deliberately for state shifts, you transform them into manifestation opportunities. Dozens of times a day, you're stepping into the state of having what you want, and those dozens of small shifts accumulate into a completely different default state over time. Start noticing the gaps in your day, and start filling them with quick state shifts. This is one of the most efficient uses of time you can possibly make, because every shift you do is moving you closer to becoming the person who already has what you want. You'll notice something as you start practicing this. Old states will keep trying to pull you back. You'll do a clean 2-breath shift into abundance, and within minutes your mind will pull you back into anxiety about money. You'll use your anchor phrase to feel loved, and shortly after, you'll find yourself feeling lonely again. This is normal. Don't be discouraged. The old states have been your defaults for years. They have momentum. They have neural pathways. They're going to keep reasserting themselves until the new state has had time to become the new default. The practice isn't to avoid being pulled back. The practice is to keep returning. Every time you notice you've slipped back into the old state, do another quick shift, 2 breaths. Anchor phrase, body adjustment, and you're back in the new state. Eventually, you'll notice the old states losing their grip. You'll catch yourself in them less often. The new state will start to feel more natural, more familiar, more like home. And the shifting will require less effort because you're already mostly there. But this requires patience with the process. The old states will pull. The new state will need to be deliberately chosen again and again, until eventually the balance tips and the new state becomes the one that's automatic. The most powerful time to shift your state is right before sleep, the moments when your conscious mind releases its grip and your subconscious becomes fully accessible. Use this window deliberately. Just before you fall asleep, do a clear state shift, 2 breaths. Drop into the state of having what you want. Hold it gently as you fall asleep. You don't need to maintain it consciously. You just need to fall asleep in that state. Your subconscious will work with it all night, deepening it, making it more familiar, integrating it into your default consciousness. This single nightly practice, just a few seconds of state shift before sleep, can transform your manifestation results faster than almost any other technique. Because what you take into sleep gets impressed most deeply. You'll wake up the next morning slightly more in the new state than you were the day before. Not dramatically, subtly, but consistently. Over days and weeks, this practice rewires your default inner experience. Don't skip this. Even on the nights when you're exhausted, even on the nights when you don't feel like doing any spiritual work, just do this one small thing, a state shift in the seconds before sleep takes you. That's all, and it's enough. Here's where we land tonight. You don't need an hour to manifest. You don't need elaborate rituals. You don't need to be in a special place. You just need to know how to shift your state in seconds, and then to practice that shift again and again throughout your day. Right now, in this moment, do a 2-breath shift. Exhale everything you've been carrying. Inhale into the state of someone who already has what you want, just for a few seconds. That's all. You've just done it. You've shifted your state. You're now in a different inner reality than you were 30 seconds ago. Now do it again later today, and later this evening, and right before you sleep tonight. Don't make it elaborate. Don't make it heavy. Just keep doing these small, quick state shifts whenever you remember. Over time, the cumulative effect of all these shifts will be enormous. You'll start spending more of your day in the new state than the old one, and as the new state becomes dominant, your reality has to follow. This is the fastest manifestation technique that exists, because state is everything, and state can change instantly. So stop waiting to feel different someday. Shift now, and again, until the version of you who has everything you want is the version you're being most of the time. That's how the visible world finally starts to match what's been available inside you all along. Shift your state in seconds, practice it throughout your day, and watch as your reality slowly catches up to the version of you you've been deliberately stepping into.